Hello, 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 and welcome to a Gameplay Day Wildcard deck character build guide. For this deck, we are going to focus on Bolgar, and we're going to give some tips on what to build for him for his abilities. Let me turn down the volume on the music just a little bit. So these decks are going to be based on the current build that is out right now. Obviously, the game is still evolving and changing, so abilities and other things may change in the future. There may be some tweaks, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, we're going to talk about a good Bolgar card build for you. We're going to go through all the things, the champions, the summons, the wild cards, and why we're doing what we're doing. Alrighty, so let's take a look at Bulgar's champion abilities. So he has Beefy Bear. What this means is that when your bear attacks, he applies knockback. It's good. Me personally, I don't find the utility too much unless you are releasing him directly inside of the monsters. But outside that, it's good. I would say that wide bore is a better one. The reason being is that when you use your knockback cannon, it's going to actually increase the power. So they'll be knocked back more and staggered just ever so slightly more, and so it'll increase the power. So that is one that I recommend for him. Predator's Instinct. You gain bonus attack damage for a duration after using ability. With this card, if you are a more aggressive Bulgar and you are more offensive, this can be really good for you because from my personal experience, I predominantly use Bulgar's abilities while I'm in the center of the fight. It is very viable and probably better to use his abilities just outside the center of the fight, but I tend to use them in the center. But that is just my play style. So just keep in mind what your play style is and how you use these cards. So if you're more offensive, you can use this in conjunction with your abilities. So you jump into the fray, you start using your abilities, you use one of your abilities. Let's say you use your cannon, then you have that damage boost. Then you can really go in there and start doing some damage, and then you can lay down your bear for additional damage, or vice versa. You can start out with bearing out, and then you get that damage boost and you start doing that damage very quickly, and then once that cooldown happens, then you can go into your cannon and then you have more damage. So that's always a good pick. Well, we're gonna put this here. I may change it, but that might be the one I actually put in this deck. Stampede is interesting in that when you do a dash, you actually apply knockback. This can be really good for defensive players as well as offensive players. Offensively, you can use this by dashing into the enemy and applying a knockback attack and then following it up with additional attacks. So for example, you could do a dash, knockback, attack, cannon knockback, attack, and then you could even bear out. You could even start with a bear out. So there's some utility for the offensive. For defensive abilities, let's say that you're getting hit very hard in the center of the fight, you can dash out and knock everyone back, giving you additional clearance room, being able to get away, and keep yourself safe and alive during the match. So that was always a good pick. We'll put that here. Call of the Wild. This one is also really good, and it has to do more with you werebearing. So when you werebear, you enrage your teammates, and so they have additional damage applied when they attack. So that's a really good option, especially in times of heated battles as you have seen in my playing of using Werebear, just going on a rampage, attacking everything, and enraging my teammates along the way to help pave the way to victory. So that is a really good pick. You just do have to be mindful about how you use it. Fight or flight is really good because it helps with moving around the map. There are times where, depending on your playstyle, you might be a quicker map mover. You might utilize the dashes and the air jets on the sides of the map and in your movement abilities, and so you could use this to either quickly get to one side or be able to quickly retreat out. It just gives you a little bit of a speed boost after using your dash, so it can be utilized in very interesting ways. You could, let's say, for example, be in the center of the map on the top lane. You could jump off the side and dash over towards one of the jet streams to get an air boost and then dash back in. Or you can do that same combo, but dash farther into the core or farther into your base as a defensive measure. So it does have some good utilization in moving around the map if you feel like you're not moving as fast through the map. Circle of Life, this is one I've been trying to get to work. It's just, it's kind of hard, but the payoff is also kind of good. So if you last hit an enemy, and I'm not entirely clear if it's on just players or if it counts on monsters. I haven't really been paying attention because I'm in the heat of the moment. But this is great for either defensive or offensive sustainability in that if you're able to get the last hit off, there's some health there for you. Or possibility that it's a health pack to one of your monsters or one of your teammates. So that's a good utilization of that ability for defensive purposes. Like, let's say you're clearing out all of the monsters attacking your core, and you got two enemy teammates, and you're by yourself because your teammate got down just like 3 seconds ago, and you need to stay alive. You can start attacking, and then if you get those last hits in, you can pick up the health and be able to survive longer. Or let's say the opposite is true, and you're attacking, but you're by yourself, and you were just with your teammate who was just alive because you were both pushing on the core. And let's say they get your teammate down, you're by yourself, you have no mana, they throw out some monsters, some weak ones, some strong ones, you start working your way through the weak ones, working your way up as far as you can go on those strong ones, taking that health in as you're going along, and hopefully you're able to get down that core in the last couple seconds before your teammate even revives or something. So that has good utilization, but I'm not 100% sure on how it works, so I've been trying it out. But if it works the way I think it's working, and I can actually have a slow moment in battle to confirm it, then, because this is a very fast and slow thought game. You have to think slowly in planning out your moves, but it is also fast paced because there are so many attacking monsters and you having to attack monsters. You got to be fast, but you also got to plan and think and slow you down your thinking while you're playing. It's a good mix. It's a good mix to get you really, really interested and stuck into the game because you're having to plan stuff out as you're in the heat of the moment, which is always a good combo. But so this is a good pick, I think, for Symbiosis. What this does is when you use Symbiosis with your bear and you just bear out, what happens is you become enraged for a duration and you get attack speed. So let's say you're you're running into the fray in the center of the top lane. Somebody threw out an furnace, and the other person on the enemy team threw out a Jans, and you start to bear out, and you and your bear just you're in it. You go in and you start attacking, but you have that extra damage boost on top of the damage that you're both doing together. So it's really good for upping the amount of damage that you do and clearing out areas or being able to push through an enemy's offense. And so far, lastly, right now, we have Pack Leader's Boon. Your ultimate max heals all the teammates around Bolgar when active. And this one is really good, but it is not one I've utilized yet. I really do need to play with this one because of what it does and how it's going to help out my teammates, with Bolgar being a good defensive player. If you have an offensive teammate, you can then focus on the defense and keeping them alive. Or let's say you also have a defensive character with you, or you do have an offensive, but your offensive is needing additional help, then this can help out. So let's say, for example, the clock's at 1 minute left on the clock before it's overtime. Both cores got exposed. Enemy team's core is at 90, we'll say 85%. Your core is at 35%. You've got the push on the enemy team's core. Both the enemies just revived. They've got max mana. You guys are fighting through. You haven't really had a chance to heal up through the out of battle heal because you're actively still fighting to get that core down. You just cleared the gorilla. You're at 85 core damage. They're coming in. You've got your ultimate, or your ultimate just filled up all the way, or maybe you tucked it away and kept it for a rainy day. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. You got that baby, and your teammate, he's on like 25% health. You got some monsters that are like 50% health. You're at like 60 health, so you don't really have to worry. Or you can even say you're at the 10. You were the one that took out the 2, and you have like 10 health left, and you just rocked it. You're securing your team's victory. And then all of a sudden they come back in, boom, ulti. What's this? Full health, baby. Come at me. Let's go. Round 2. Just wailing on them. Your teammate's back to full health. You're back to full health. Like, you guys are saving up your mana. If you got like a 1-2 card out, you pop them out. 1-2, boom. You got some little extra damage or a little bit of defensive zone buffering for yourself as you continue on your mission, and you wind up just winning the game. Same can be said if you're doing it defensively. Let's say you were on an offensive move and you winded up getting to the core, but you only got them down to 85%. You got your core still at 35%. The gorilla has only like 5% health before he's done, and you got the core coming up. You run back to your base. Your teammate just died. The field is completely cleared right now, so you're running back. You got to make sure you're defending yourself and your core. Enemy team starts rushing. They use the jet streams to jump over the map, coming over. Locke has his all already, and you're at like 30% health, and you're like darting around trying to keep out from the not locked teammate who's starting to throw out some cards. So you run like, let's say, behind the core just for a second, because you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die here. I need a second to get that 1 mana to be able to get a monster out, any monster out. It doesn't matter what monster out. And then you're like halfway to that next man. You're like, I gotta go now. If I don't, they're just gonna hit the core, because Locke's doing his ult. He's got three of the summons out already. He's about to get 4 and 5 going. I need to rush this. You can just like jump in there and just ulti. Doesn't matter that you're low health. You just come in, blow up You glow up with your blow up, you go full health, you start swinging like a madman, just rushing around anything as your screen is a blur, as you're darting back and forth across, like, where's my next victim before this runs out? I need blood from these people. So you find your target, you rush him, you get him down to low health, and then you can finish him off. But you go from having like 35%, you go from like having 20 health, 20% health, all the way up back to full health. And then by the time your ultimate is wearing off, your teammates come in and he starts throwing out cards. He starts going and clearing out any monsters that your initial mad just craze of attacks went around your core did not finish off. Whatever monsters it didn't finish off, he can start going in there. You can still keep going because you got that full health on your bar even after you're done transforming to go after the people that you're going after. So then let's say they were at full health, now they're at like 50% health, but you still got full health. You can just still charge them. Maybe you got them close to a wall. Then you've got your cannon. Boom! Shoot the cannon, make them hit the wall, make them fall down. You're still attacking them the whole time. They're stunned, and you're like, oh my god, I can't get out. What's going on? And you're just like, nope, 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 nope. So that's a great card as well, especially if you're starting out with Bolgar. It might be good if you can get his ultimate a lot. The trick to getting Bolgar's ultimate, I will say, is that you have to do hits. You don't have to do a lot of damage. You don't have to get that last hit. You don't even have to get the kill. You just have to do the hits. Every hit adds a little bit to that ultimate charge. So just keep plugging away, doing the hits that you can. Back out when you need to. If you're like at half health, maybe a little bit less, back out, give it 10 seconds, heal up a little bit, throw out a card or two to keep them away, and then just jump right back in. So let's see here. Let's see here. Stampede is dash knocks back enemies. I'm not going to say that one. I'm going to say bonus attack damage. I'm going to say the increased knockback. And this one's going to just be really good. Now, when you're thinking of Bolgar and how you play him, Bolgar is more defensive. He has the higher health, the lower damage, so you want to be able to stall your enemies. When you're doing that, there's a couple things you can do. You can do area denial. You can do low level lots of monsters over time, or you can do low level just delay. So let's say you want to have some AoE denial, and then you want to have some monsters that you don't have to spend a lot of mana on, but by the time you're getting into late game, you got a sizable force within that small card. So it's something that you can really use to your advantage, even if it's just to stop somebody from attacking for a couple seconds, or at least moving down lane, what have you. It's good for it. And it gives a delay, then that gives you time to back out, recuperate, and what you need to do. Vita Drop is really good in that when he attacks, he gives you health. It is a one attack, and then he heals you. It's good if you need that extra healing, but not my personal top pick. I do like the Cacti Crew. The Cacti Crew are nice. They're small, they're easy. You get 3 of them. They're semi-low mana. They don't die immediately. They have a little bit of health to them, so they are a great stall pick. Also, they're just great for like claiming the lane. So if they're going down the lane, they claim that area from any opposing monsters coming in. They'll delay them from approaching, or letting other monsters that are behind them catch up. They're also good for when you already have a rush of monsters going in. They can add to those forces, and I'll get into that a little bit later with one of my other picks. Lump is really good. Lump is really good because it does AoE healing for everyone around the summon location. So make sure that he is close to you if you're trying to heal yourself. Make sure that you are planning ahead where he lands if you're trying to heal your teammate. There's are a lot of times where I want to heal my teammate because they're at like half health. I've got lump, I got full mana. I want to switch them out because I know my next card is a good card. So I just kind of want to get rid of them for right now. It's a great opportunity for me to use them to heal up my teammate. So you gotta aim where your teammate's gonna be when the card lands, because they will run out of the AoE heal zone, and it happens a lot because I'm not aiming, and I'm sad and mad at myself because I'm not aiming, and I should be aiming when I'm not. So make sure that you aim. Another good pick is Buckshot. Buckshot does critical damage. He has range. He is a little bit less on the health pool, but he does have that range, and he advances down the lane. So he's going to be advancing with your monsters and attacking from the back line. So I do recommend him. He's a great stall, or let's say you have a beefier monster up in the front line holding everyone back. You can have a Buckshot in the back doing ranged attacks, doing critical attacks, and then once those monsters are cleared out and your big monster starts moving again, Buckshot will start moving with him again because there's nobody in range to attack. So it's a great backline support to your lane pushes. Furby is really good, but I will say that Chunk is better. Furby and Chunk act the same way. They are a taunt, meaning that when minions are going down the lanes and this little rascal is in your troop, marching along not with a care in the world, all the enemy monsters will focus him. And what happens is he looks at those enemy monsters and he's like, no, and he just bolts. He runs, he skedaddles. He's like, I'm not here for this. I thought this was going to be a jauntly little stroll down memory lane. I am not down for the damage. So he will just run, and he actually runs pretty quickly. But what that does is it makes the enemy monsters focus on your team, on him, and not your monsters, and not on you, and that gives them an opportunity to be able to get in 1, 2, or maybe 3 attacks before Furble is out of range. So he's a great distraction. He's really good, but he's not my primary pick for that role. My primary pick is Chunk, and that's because he's got that chunk. Hey, chunky. He's got girth to himself, and he can take those hits, and he can take prolonged damage. So he is great for when there is a mob fight. There's like a whole pack of Cacticrew. There's also the Blitz boys running in. He's getting attacked by all of them. Heck, we can even shoot in the Shoot-a-Crew. They're all attacking him. They all focus him instead of the other monsters. So if you have like Buckshot will start picking them off while they're all focused on Chunk. If the Cacticrew on your team's in there, they'll start rushing into the enemy team and start attacking them while they're all focused on Chunk. So it can keep your other minions, your weaker minions, alive so that they're able to do damage for longer, because they're not going to be taking those direct hits initially. Or at least in theory, because there are times where the range of the monsters plays a bit of a factor. So that is great defensively and offensively. With that, you can, let's say there's a big group coming in on the top lane or even on the side lane, and you don't have mana right at the moment, but you got 4. Your teammate, he's gonna get revived in like 3 seconds, or maybe he only has 4. Give him a little bit of chance to get a little bit 1-2 more mana, because he's got 2 or 3 2 cards, maybe a 1 card, maybe a 3 card. Who knows? It really depends on the deck. But he's got some mana, but he just needs a little bit more, and then he'll actually have like a good defensive or offensive group to be able to throw into the fray. With Chunk, if you only have like 4 mana, or you were at 3 mana, let's say you're even at 2 mana, you can jump in there where the monsters are. You're going to take hits. That's okay. If anything, you can always use your bazooka cannon to knock them back. Delay it for a second or two. Give yourself a chance to get that 1, 2, 3. Heck, even if you're starting brand new, 4 mana that you need to get, you're going to have like 5-ish seconds where you can do that and still be able to survive. Once you get that, you can throw it down. The monsters will start focusing chunks, so you can either back out or you can take a moment to pick off 1 or 2 of the monsters and then be able to back out before like before Chunk dies. So he's great for defensive purposes. He can also be used offensively in keeping the attention off of your ranged advancing units. So he's really good for that. Ribbit. Ribbit is great offensively, defensively. In between, it doesn't matter. Ribbit is my boy. Him and Spord, which I will get into next, are just 2 powerhouses in my opinion. The reason being is that Ribbit has extreme versatility in how you use him. Examples of that are, let's say that there is a fight in the center lane on the top. You use the jet stream to jump in. The 2 enemy teammates are running into the battle. They just summoned in Gorit or Infernus, so you got a big monster there. Heck, you can even say Jans is in there. Big unit, about to do some very heavy damage. What you can do is you can take Ribbit, you can aim where you're throwing them, and just bloop right there. And then within a second and a half to 2 seconds, there's damage. Instantly, whatever unit he just touched, that sucker is slowed. If you're a player, just, my God, we're going to get into that in a second. But as a monster, you can definitely utilize this in taking down bigger monsters faster. Another thing you can do is you can throw it at the feet of your enemy goalie. Let's say that you don't have any monsters with you. You don't have any mana. You got up to the goalie. You're at 1 mana. You're about to get to 3, and the gorilla comes back, respawn, and he's got his health. You have nothing except for your little Ribbit. That's all you need. All you need. Just throw him at the goalie's feet, and then boom. Slowed down. That gives you a chance to do 1 to 4 hits before the gorilla's attack is actually going to connect and hurt you. It even gives you the chance to be able to get out of the zone before they hurt you. So let's say you were low health and you were attacking the core, all of a sudden gorilla comes back, you have no monsters there, you only have 3 mana, you got 10% health. Gorilla looks at you and is like, hey bud, I want to have a little conversation about the last time we were talking. So you're like, oh, and you're like, I need to get out. I'm sorry, Ribbit, you're my sacrifice. I love you. This is your whole purpose in life. Just save me. Save me from my time of crisis. Throw him at the feet, you slow him down, you can just jump out. Another example for defensive purposes is, let's say you had a wave and you were pushing through, and then all of a sudden your wave just got cleared because Locke used his ult because he needed to, and just cleared out all of your monsters real quick. He used a lava drop, he used a chrono drop to time dilate an area, AoE. Same as lava drop, but time dilation where everything slows in the area. Let's say he's got that. Let's say he's also just thrown down Fendor, which is Overshield. It gives you an Overshield even when you are in combat. It's the same as Lump, but instead of health, it's an Overshield. I prefer Lump over Fendor, but you can also mix the two. But I digress. Let's say you have no monsters. Locke is coming in. Locke has his dash ready. Locke has time dilation down to a T. He's just been knocking you around this entire match, just time dilating you left and right through his dashes or his third attack, whatever it is. Maybe he's been throwing chrono drops and Jans is on you, and like, my gosh, if I do not get away from this Locke, I'm going to just I am going to go nuts. I need to beat this Locke. Ribbit will save you. or Sky. Sky is also great for this, but Sky is more specific utility. You kind of have to know you're dealing with a lock or have a feeling that lock's going to be used, which lock is really good. So a lot of people are going to use lock. So Sky is always a good option. Ribbit gives you kind of that Sky ability, but not with denying time dilation, but by using the time dilation attack. Throw it at your enemy. Throw it at the enemy player. Throw it at their feet. Try to get that attack off. If anything, put Ribbit between you and the enemy player so that they have to come through Ribbit, and then Ribbit can attack them, slow them down. You can either just punch them, start getting in your good hits, or you can retreat out more. So Ribbit is a great utility pick. Oof. Also, it goes with the nature theme. All of this goes with the nature theme. Next one, my ultimate favorite is Spord. The great thing about Spord, besides his being nature and just going with the whole aesthetic of nature, is that he is great offensively and defensively. If you've seen my basic deck building guide, you've seen my explanation of him and how he spawns units as he traverses the lanes. My recommendation is try to throw him in the back on the wall, but not too far back. The way the lanes are split up, the lines and how the monsters move, you can't do too far back. You have to be closer to the ramp, but if you do it on the side against the wall, he'll walk down there. Not a lot of people throw monsters down there currently, but they might change in the future. It really depends on the player that you're playing against. But what happens is he can walk down there. Bonus points if there is an unclaimed wild card with the shield down there. Extra bonus points if you can get that, because what happens is Spord will stop there. He will begin to attack. If he's had a chance to spawn units already, those units also will attack the shield. It effectively stops them. It's a stop gag. So even though they're not moving forward, the timer on him spawning units is still counting. So he'll be stationary, spawning units, and then once the shield is down, they start moving along their way. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 sets of little boy Spords coming out, just running ahead of him. You've got that there, and then he's still got half that lane to go, still spawning out 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Heck, maybe he might be at the core, hasn't died yet, gets out of 5th, gets out of 6th. He's just going in. If you've seen some of my videos, you'll see me looking at the lower lane, watching my Spord. I'm continuously watching how many are spawning out. Can I get at least 3 out? Can I get 4 out? Can I get that 6? Because if I can get that 6, that's 18 of those little suckers just running around. Just like a fungus, just grows, slowly grows and takes over everything. And he's a great option, great pick. I always recommend him. He's currently my favorite. If that's not your style, that's okay. But I just love him, and I recommend him as a cornerstone unit you use when first experimenting with building decks, because for the most part, always a solid pick. Even defensively, let's say you throw him behind your core while the core is exposed, that gives him 3-4 seconds to be able to spawn out 3 extra units. So that 1 just became 4 units. So that can help with defending your core. So he's got some good defensive, but predominantly he's really good offensively. Another good pick is when you're first starting out, or if you're playing against new players. This will be the bane of their existence. And do you see this? And they're playing long. I hope that you have Sky, or that you have a Ribbit, or that you are really good about your dashes, because your life will be a living hell. I'm sorry to tell you this. It's going to happen. You got to take for what it is. Hope for the best. use your dashes, plan your dodging attacks. That's what you're going to need to know. If you see this get thrown out, run for the hills, unless you have Sky or possibly Ribbit. The Ribbit cannot counter Chrono Drop. He can only counter the character attacking you. So be afraid. But if you put this in your deck, what it means is that when they do an attack, much like Lava Drop and doing an AoE attack, he does a chrono attack. So there's an area around him that has time dilation. Any enemy monsters or characters or goalie that goes into that zone will be time dilated and slowed. It gives you great opportunity to do damage as an attack character. It's not really what you want as a defensive character per se, but it can be great for defense, because let's say you just had your core exposed, Locke just used his ultimate, you do not have your ultimate as Werebear to just rash, thrash, and clear everything out. You can use Chrono Drop, throw it in the middle of the monsters where Locke is, Chrono slow them. That gives you the opportunity to be able to attack before they can attack. You might be able to even get Locke before he can finish his ultimate. So it's a great defensive ability, but it's more predominantly offensive in my opinion. Not one necessarily I recommend for Bolgar. I would recommend Deadeye. Deadeye I recommend in all builds right now, just for the way that he works. Though I'm sure there's going to be some really fast monster in the future that's just going to wreck him. Or Neva, because Neva can hack him. But he's great. He will move away from damage and attack. But I'm not going to have him in this build for Bolgar. I predominantly use Infernus. He's got high health and AoE attack. But if you're looking for more knockback like your Bazooka, you can go for Goret. If you don't have a Chrono Drop and you don't have Ribbit because you haven't unlocked him yet, or just not in your deck theme this round, what have you, you can always add in Jans as your big one and have that time dilation effect. But I usually do Infernus. Outside of this, for Bolgar, I would also recommend honestly, yeah, Beak It. The double attack is just really good. They move. They have a long range with their attack. A lot of people forget about the attack. There are people out there that will get hit with the first hit and get hit with the second hit, not even realize it because they're focusing on the other monsters, and because the attacking boomerang does move quite quickly. There are other people that will get hit by the first hit and think that they're clear because they got hit and they're not going to have to worry about a second hit, and then lo and behold they get a second hit and half their health is gone. Beacon does a good amount of damage, has really good range, and he moves down the lane. So I always recommend Beacon as a good secondary ranged character. I try to have at least 1 to 2 ranged characters depending on the type of build that I'm making. And that way, not everybody's up in face. And let's say I have a bunch of close range monsters, including a high rank one. They're all clustered together because I threw them out because either I was flustered or I needed to clear up or block a lane push. Well, lo and behold, enemy team has a diva and they just throw it out, DFA, and they just throw it out, and boop, my entire monster group is just gone. All of my small guys gone, just disappeared. My big guy, my Infernus, half health now. He was at full health, half now, if not 75%, if not full health. I'm not really sure, but I think it's like almost all of his health. It's like 10% left or something. Just gone. Your entire push or your defensive wall just gone. So I do recommend having 1 or 2 ranged characters so they don't get mixed into the fray. There's a higher chance that they won't be in the cluster if you summon them as a cluster. So these are the monsters that I would recommend for Bolgar when you're first starting out. Of course, you can always switch things out. Um, if I'm trying to do more of a defensive lane push, I want to stay on my side of the field, but I want to keep heavy pressure on the enemy. What I can do is I can switch out Chunk for the Assembler or even Vocab, and then I can also switch out either Tadpole or Beakit for Aloe. What that will do is, let's say I take out Tadpole. Now Aloe will be healing him as he's sitting there producing units. Any of your teammates that run near Aloe, they'll get healed as well. But I don't necessarily recommend Aloe for one stationary unit because they will run off. They will advance down lanes unless there is somebody that is injured. I do recommend having multiple spawn units, so having Assembler, Spore, Vocab, having Deadeye because they are a stationary unit, having Watchy because they are a stationary unit. It'll keep them healed in area, and the Aloe can just run around in circles, healing up who needs help. But yeah, this is good. You could even replace Chunk with Cacticine, because when Cacticine attacks, he's throwing out Cacticures. So let's say you got 3 down on the field, they're running up right along Cacticine, like, hey, boss, here we go, ha ha ha, and just getting ready to attack. And then enemy comes up, they will charge forward, keeping Cacticine safe, and Cacticine will just start throwing out extra Cacticures. Let's say every 2-3 hits, a Cacticure gets killed. Well, that doesn't really matter too much if Cactikine's behind him because he's throwing out an additional one every attack. So let's say the enemy can kill a Cacticure in 2 hits, but it takes like 2 hits. The amount of time it takes to do 2 hits, Cacticine throws out a Cacticure. Well, those 2 just negated each other. So your 3 Cacticure are just sitting pretty up there against the Cacticine. Now, obviously, if more monsters come into the fray, that equation no longer works. But it's still options that you can use. As far as your wild cards, I would recommend cooldown reduction so that you can use your bear and you can use your cannon a lot quicker. You're able to push your enemies out. You're able to defend better. You're able to attack better. You can even engage better by having that cooldown reduction. Let's say that you bear out or you wear out and you need quick cycling. So let's say you bared out and you're attacking and you're doing everything great, and then timer runs out or something else is happening where you need to use your ultimate, and then boom, you're straight werebearing, like, and you're just wrecking things and going crazy, and then because it doesn't last that long, when you are done werebearing, maybe you can bear out again. So you can create a nice chain of effects by doing this cooldown reduction. This is actually something I recommend on pretty much every character currently right now. It's the best one that is available right now. I'm sure there will be more in the future that do all kinds of different things. We will have to see. But it's a great one I recommend right now, along with Astral Rejuvenation, because better mana regeneration is just always good. But if you're really good at mana, you might not even need that. It's really up to you. Maybe you do get hit. Maybe you're really good at mana regeneration, but you get hit a lot, or your goalie gets hit a lot, and that's where you're really having problems. It's not necessarily your monsters, because let's say you're summoning as many monsters as the enemy team is during your matches, the same as your teammate. Like, you've got that part good. You've got good mana management. You're just still getting your core attacked. Spike Shield. It's a little bit more defensive. Your champion can last a little bit longer. Your goalie will last a little bit longer. Auto attacking when you're getting attacked, so extra damage. It's a good pick. Overshielding, I always like it. It's great, love it. Especially helps when you are low health and you're out of combat, because it is a full overshield. It is not a recharging overshield. So while you're low health, you just got to combat the time, the X marker, the amount of time hit for you to get that overshield. You got that going. You wait. You've now, after that fact of having the overshield covering you while you have the low health, you hit that health regen time marker, so X amount of time, I think it's 10 seconds hits. You still have that shield protecting what little health you have, and then you start to regenerate your health. So that's going to help you stay alive when you have low health. So these are the recommendations. I do it. They also work with your abilities. So when you do the cooldown reduction with your Wildcard, you're getting more attack damage. You're able to become offensive Bolgar. You can go OP on them when you're using your werebear form. You can really just unleash the rage, unleash the attacks, because you already have the bonus attack from the bear. So you can actually just get even more from that. So that's one of the things I use, and that's why you'll see in like my videos where when the bear comes to play, everything runs away because I'm just damaging along everywhere. So that's why that's really good. It also helps with being able to get those hits in, because even though basic attacks recharge your ultimate charge, so do your ability attacks. So it's able to help with increasing the number of attacks that you can do, increases the amount of times that you can use your cannon for that increased knockback power, so you're knocking back people more often. So it's really good synergy between your abilities and your wild cards and your deck, because you do have several low monsters, but you're going to be able to summon them a lot quicker. You're going to be able to get a 3 summon off when you have that 20% mana regeneration. You'll be able to get him off and then wait 15 seconds, boom, you're getting another one off. You were low health. You had a ribbon out because you had to stun the enemy player so you could escape, and then you have no mana, but you're able to get out. You're able to survive for 10, 15 seconds, just dashing away, running around your core, just keeping away from the enemy player. And then you have your 3 mana. Boom! You throw down lump. Boop! You're at 50% health, and then you start getting that mana health regeneration over time. You're able to come back and start attacking. Wait a couple seconds. Let's say that they have like 2-3 monsters out. Boom, you start throwing out lava drop, starts doing AoE damage in the area. That way lava drop can deal with the monsters or damage core. You can still start running and going after the enemy player. The enemy player starts running around the core. They're like, oh man, he's got me. Nah, he's actually focused me. I gotta distract him while the monsters are doing damage. Oh no, they're actually getting lava dropped. I can't just run circles around the core unless I want to take damage, and I'm already at kind of low health, so, or like I'm already got some missing health, so I don't want to necessarily take that damage. I'll have to either disengage, risk the damage, or like try and backtrack around. If they try and backtrack around, you can get them. If they start going through the lava, I mean, they're getting damage. If they disengage, they disengage. But you've got that lump, you got ribbit for your disengage, and then the lump being able to come back into it. Lava drop dealing with it. Lava drop's just a one, so it's a boom, one and done. And then let's say you also had tadpole. Boom, 2 different monster types out on the field after you just healed. Heck, if you're feeling frisky and you've got the good mindset for it, you can wait even just a moment, get the 4, and throw Beak It, or throw Buckshot off a little bit so that he's He's starting to do damage on the monsters that are attacking while Love Drop's doing the AoE damage. You can also throw out the Cacticures, have them distract the monsters. If your teammates like throwing out a bunch of cards and helping defend the core, and let's say you're at a 4, and you're like, oh, I could throw out Beaker right now, and that could probably do a lot of damage, but they have that Jans, and he's at full health. What I could do is I can then just jump in, do a little damage, maybe even use my Mechanic because I have that cooldown reduction, shoot him off, create some distance so he has to walk back to do damage again. That's going to give me time to get that 3 mana. All of a sudden, boom, I'm throwing out Infernus. Infernus starts doing the AoE damage around him to all the smaller minions, winds up clearing them out. You still have the Jans, and we'll even say you have a chunk there. You still got to deal with them, but you're very able to get a high health monster to be able to block attacks while also being able to defend your core. So there's all kinds of things you can do with this deck. You can definitely change out the monsters and how you use them. This is just a recommended deck for Bolgar. This is not a final deck. You can change out things. Maybe you like the Fling Shot and you like it more than, let's say, Cacticing, because you like being able to engage because you're an offensive Bolgar. You can definitely do that. Let's say you want to go a lot more defensive and really making sure that your core stays safe. You put Fendor on your team, and what Fendor does is essentially like Lump, but instead of health, it's overshield. So it will heal. It'll apply an overshield to people around where it is summoned, and that will give you a moment of overshield, blocking your health from getting damaged. And let's say you were at like 5-7 seconds out of combat, enemy team starts running in hard on you. You're like, uh-oh, I can't regenerate health. Throw down Fendor, boom, overshield on you. You're not going to be regenerating health. The timer's reset. You got hit, but you at least have the overshield. Gives you a little bit of an extra chance to get out, jump out, be like, okay, cool. Another situation, you notice that your teammate's pushing really hard. You went in a little bit too heavy. You know you have those teammates that go in too heavy and they get overpowered, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, let me save you. Let me try and fix this. Let me salvage the damage. With this, then, what you can do is you can throw that down at your teammate. That will overshield your teammate and all of the monsters that are on your, well, all of his summons and your summon monsters in that AoE area. So it will give him an overshield. If you have a bunch of minions that are like 50% health, now they got an overshield to protect them even though their health is low. Extra points, and I've done this a couple times, and I totally recommend doing it because it is amazing, is if you can get a full mana bar, and let's say you did spawn out Tadpole earlier on your side of the map, or Cacticure as well on your side of the map. That's 5 right there, but that was on your side of the map. They finally got over to just before the core. They just finished crossing the bridge. You've got a full 10 on your mana because you had that faster mana regeneration. Do you know what time it is? It's time to pull out Infernus and Fendor. You throw out Infernus, creates big area. Even if there's no monsters there, he's there now. So you've got him clumped with the cactus, and let's say you got to 6 tadpole. So you got 6 tadpole plus 3 cacticure. That's 9. Plus Infernus, that's a heavy 10th right there. Then you throw down Fendor. Do you know what happens? They all get overshield. You now have 10 units, varying mana size, varying attack, varying health, all with overshields. So it's going to take longer for your tadpoles to get destroyed and your cacticore to get destroyed, and that might even just allow your Infernus or your other large mana number monster just just eat any damage against him. Let him continue to go on the offensive, because anyone that attacks the character or the monster while the overshield is on has to deal with getting that overshield off before they can even deal with the actual mana, the actual health pool is. Doesn't matter what the monster's health pool is at the moment, because they got the overshield. It's going to take them 4 hits to get that overshield off. That's 1 to 4 hits where Infernus can do another attack or two, or just start like an AoE attack. So it is a huge benefit. So if anything, I would say put Fendor in your deck. Like, as this deck for Bolgar, I think this is a strong deck. With this deck, you have healing, you have shielding, you have the spawning of units, and which increases the number of units. You have a heavy hitter that does AoE damage and damage over time. You have 2 ranged characters, one doing critical damage, one doing double damage. And then, in addition to that, not only do you have an AoE effect attack, you can also slow down the attacks of your enemies, bringing their assault or their defensive measures to a halt as you just come in and you just rip everything apart. And you know what? If you need a little bit of help while you're ripping them apart, you got your little buddies, your little goon squad. They're gonna be following you straight in there, going in. They're like, "Let's go!" All of a sudden, you've just got the bear out, and then you're just going even harder. And then all of a sudden, boom, werebear, and your crowd is just coming in hard and attacking the core. And it's good stuff. But yeah, anyways, so this is my Bolgar guide. Obviously, there are tons of other cards. This guide is more geared toward giving people who don't know the cards, or maybe how best to utilize the cards, a chance to get a more character-specific build. If anything, I'm pretty sure this is the same build I used in the basic deck building guide, but I at least wanted to go more in depth in the champion's abilities. That way you have a better idea of what you're doing and how you might be able to use those abilities when using this character. When making your summons picks, you also want to figure out how you can utilize the character's abilities when actually playing the game. For example, at Bolgar, as a defensive character, you can do multiple health drops. You don't have to do an area of denial. Let me get this off. You could do health, so like you can stay in the back line, watch your teammates. Let's say that they're pushing, they got hit really hard, and you had to throw out your lump, and then all of a sudden Locke throws out his ultimate, starts wiping out your teammates' health real quick. You still have a backup health. You could still throw out another health, give him a little bit of health from the damage that's done to keep him alive while you're still in the back line throwing down your cards to build up the defensive line or the next incoming wave. So that's also a really good pick. If you want to, you can also do Aloe, but she is more for stationary in my opinion. But again, use what you know. Try to figure out ways that you can use the cards in addition to the way your abilities work. See if you can't combine the way cards work with abilities. For example, you could do Ribbit at an enemy player's feet, time dilate them, slow them down, immediately go into your werebear ult and start just having some filet mignon for lunch. So use the cards in conjunction with your abilities to really get more out of it, more versatility, more viability. Check out their descriptions. Try them out. If they don't work for you, and that's okay. But you at least tried it out. Like Trailblazer. Great for Ragna because fire damage. It's also a ranged fire damage character. Ragna does fire damage and boosts fire damage, so that will entail in turn boost Tailblazer's fire damage. So think of ways that you can use the cards in conjunction with your abilities and how your abilities work. Do you need to stun, or do you need to knock back? Do you need to defend really a lot? Do you need to do a lot of damage while defending or attacking? Do you need heavy defensive units to keep your defensive line going? Do you need help defending and clearing out, or do you jump in there with surprise damage that you can then just back out of? Keep those things in mind when you're looking at the cards and how you're using them. Again, there's no right answer and there is no wrong answer. You just try it out, see how it works. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, oh well. You tried it, you figured out what doesn't work for you, and then you can move forward onto things that do work for you. One other recommendation I would say is don't get complacent with always using the same deck. Try to constantly change out a couple decks. Keep a variety. A couple reasons. These characters' values are constantly changing, so what might be good one round while it's still in development might not be good in the next round. You don't know. Another reason is that you can familiarize yourself with a larger pool of monsters and how they work with your abilities. A third reason is that especially during these early testing phases and even later on the road, once this game has been released and there's tons of players and there's different MMR ratings and such, there's going to be times where you're going to come across the same players over and over and over time, and you'll recognize some of those names. You'll be like, I know what kind of deck this person uses. I know what kind of style they use. By having a variety of decks, you can change up how they're going to attack you. For example, already I have noticed that because I do post these videos and I play during the tests and stuff, some of you folks have built some decks to go against me. Not specifically against me, but against my decks. It's only been like 3 of you, but I've noticed. I've seen it. So I've had to add new decks and change them out and change how I'm playing the characters because you guys are negating my decks, so I have to come up with new ones. That's why I posted a bunch of videos of new decks. They're new ideas. Maybe you can use them, maybe you don't use them, maybe I use them and you use them against me, maybe you don't, maybe you do, who knows, we'll see. But by switching up the decks, it allows for greater variety in how people play against you, how you play against people. Let's say that there is one person that really just get you going each time you play, Dragoon, or Shady, or Mr. House. Oh man, this is cold. So maybe you recognize their cards and their play style, and you have to build decks against them. You're gonna have to try different styles of decks, and you're also gonna have to try different deck styles in defending against. So have a couple different decks available to you. Check them out, experiment with them, change things up. You could have 2 decks that are exactly the same except for one card is changed, and that could be just because during the loading screens in the future, hopefully, I believe it will happen, you'll be able to see the enemy team's names or such before the match actually starts, so you'll have a little bit more strategy in picking your deck, so that'll help with that. But yeah, again, so this is my Bolgar deck recommendation. I will remove him and put in Lava Drop, and I will remove Fendor, and I will say, honestly, just for a final recommendation, say Shell Shock, just because heavy health, heavy damage, just very slow attack, very slow moving. But yeah, so we'll say this is my final recommendation for these. This guy will shoot rockets out of his back, and once he's done, he will go into his shell to reload. During his reload period, he takes less damage, and then when he pops back out, he attacks. It's a great ranged attack. Um, Actually, keep Cacticking. Yeah, this will be my deck recommendation. It allows for additional spawning of units, so it gives you a little bit more opportunity to have more minions out than you're able to physically spawn yourself. And then champion abilities. Some of my recommendations, but please use the other ones. Change it up. Make it to your playstyle. Do not follow just my recommendations blindly. Your playstyle and my playstyle are not the same playstyle, so it's not a 1-for-1 ratio. This is just something I recommend as a starter based on the abilities and how I have played the character and understand the character. Again, make sure to do the things that work for you, change things up, do variety, and outside of that, just have fun. Again, I know I've said it like 3 times. This is my simple Bolgar build, but this is the end. So I hope I do see you playing this game. And until next time and every time, be safe.